Yeah, last week I got my wish of getting Tottenham relegated and they lost against Sunderland. However, I predicted that Arsenal will beat Bournemouth at home. However, they lost against Bournemouth, which changed the dynamics of the Premier League title race. And I'm back again for my Premier League predictions for week 32. And let's have it here now. Now, for this week, Chelsea versus Manchester United. I'm starting with the big match of the weekend. Chelsea versus Manchester United. I predicted correctly that Chelsea will lose against Manchester City. That although I want them to win, but there's really no way for them to win against Manchester City. And I did say that Manchester United will most likely not get a win against Leeds, although I gave them draw, but they lost instead. So this time around, I'm going for a Chelsea victory. I do think that you might not agree with me totally, but I think Chelsea will get a victory against Manchester United on Saturday. I believe Chelsea will beat them at least 2-1 at home. That's for Chelsea. Now, Manchester City, another big match at the weekend. Manchester City versus Arsenal. Now, this is a big one. I was reading the column by Chris Sutton of BBC, and he's going for a 1-0 victory for Manchester City. And he's actually saying that even Arsenal does not have to lose this game; they just have to draw. But the problem with Arsenal, and I've said, is that they don't score goals. Immediately you don't score goals, a lot of things could happen to you. Someone can score against you luckily. So Arsenal don't score goals. And it happened again against Sporting Lisbon. They played 0-0. And away from home, they were only lucky to we can agree that it was kind of luck that they won 1-0 away from home. So Manchester City against Arsenal, I'm going for a 2-1 victory for Manchester City. I believe Manchester City will beat them, and this is going to change the dynamics of the Premier League title race one more time. So Spurs versus Brighton. Now, this time around the game, I'm still going for a Tottenham loss. Tottenham going to lose this game. Brighton to win 2-1. Villa versus Sunderland. Congratulations to Villa. They are now in the semi-final of the UEFA Europa League, where they will play against Nottingham Forest. I believe they'll probably get to the final. And looking at the record of Unai Emery, they'll probably win the tournament. But that's one to watch. So Villa versus Sunderland. Villa 1, Sunderland 1. That's my prediction. Forest versus Burnley. This is bottom of the table class. Burnley are 18 or Burnley are 19th. Yeah, they are 19th, and you want to fancy Forest getting a win here, although they played on Thursday. I believe Forest should be able to get a win against Burnley. So Forest 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Burnley 1. That's my prediction. Palace versus West Ham United. I said last week that Palace should be tired, fatigue and all that because of their UEFA Conference League, and Newcastle should win. However, they shocked me by winning at the end, at the very end. But this time around, I'm going for a West Ham victory. So West Ham to win 2-1. Palace 1-2 West Ham United. And finally, for my prediction this weekend, Leeds versus Wolves. I believe this should be that match that finally confirms and confines Wolves to the championship. So I'm going for a Leeds United victory. Leeds United 3-1 Wolves. That is it from my Premier League prediction this weekend. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.